Falcon fans, Falcon Nation, welcome back to Dirty Fanatics United. It is episode 150 on this absolutely glorious Friday night. I am your host, C Money, followed by my awesome panel of co-hosts here, Philip, aka the man Avitz himself, Robert, aka the man Mega Biv himself, and my guy at the bottom of the right-hand screen, Cody, the Falconator. Keela is here to talk Falcon football. Falcon fans, hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe. You are listening to your Atlanta Falcon podcast. Falcon fans, glad to have each and everybody here tuning in tonight. Cody, Philip, Robert, it's been a while since DFU went live, but guys, the YouTube has been climbing the past two episodes. So I want to give a shout out to all the new viewers, all the new subscribers, the 756 viewers of last podcast. We thank all you guys for tuning in and checking out the show. Philip, what's going on, man? It's been a long extended break here for DFU, but we are back in action. Training camp right around the corner. The Falcons have already sold out of training camp tickets for the Saturday event. So Falcon fans, if you're wanting to get to a training camp, get those tickets in ASAP, because the Falcons this year only give one weekend training camp, which is the Saturday, July the 26th and Saturday, July the 27th. I was able to cop tickets for the 27th and the Thursday prior to the 27th. So Falcon fans, get up with us. Cody, that is the dates that I will be in Atlanta. Hopefully the Thursday before July 27th, and then that whole weekend, and then I'll attend that Sunday as well. So Falcon fans, tap in. DFU at the training camp. Philip, what's going on, man? How you been?
I've been great. Starting a new job today. Having to do a lot of learning, but hey, it's all in the process, man. We're blessed to have that opportunity. We're here today, thank God, and just ready to talk about some Falcon football and see what's going on in training camp and such like that.
Absolutely, Falcon fans. What a time when you get a new job, that journey to learning the system, and once you figure it out, you're like, all this that I was worried about, just so simple. Once you figure it all out, like that's what any job. That's what any job. It's been like that for me. Every job I've attended or even gotten, no matter how skilled I am at that skill, it's always, can I perfect this that I'm doing? But Philip, congrats to you on the new job, man. Also, congratulations to Cody Keeler, the Mercedes-Benz dealer of them himself. Cody Keeler, what's going on, man? Glad to have you on the podcast tonight. The new salesman of Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta. Cody, what's going on, bro?
Yeah, man. Just what they say: if you can't work for the Falcons, work for Mercedes-Benz. It's the next best thing, boys.
Yes,
but to your point, Chase, man, you're right. I've been doing the whole car thing for not a long time, but getting up on a decade, and Mercedes-Benz is different than anything that I've done. I mean, parts are parts, man, but there's always that
luxury is luxury, huh?
Yeah, I always say, oh man, I always say, you want to talk about expensive, boys. I always say there's some of the things that, I mean, it's unreal, I would say, but that's not Falcon related, other than the Mercedes-Benz part of it. But man, just working away, learning a new catalog, learning all this stuff, but at the same time, just craving Falcon football, man. Just
Absolutely.
Craving it.
It's been kind of a dry spout here for DFU. Obviously, the Falcons have not released too much. Obviously, Falcons are no longer at mandatory rookie minicamp. The players are actually out and about now, doing their own thing, getting ready in shape for training camp. Robert, we got a lot to talk about tonight. A short hour to do so. Robert, what's going on, man? Glad to have you here. Obviously, Robert, back in action, back on the work site, doing what Robert does. Robert, what's going on, man? Glad to have you here tonight for episode 150. Robert, what's going on, brother?
Just putting in a lot of hours, trying to get back in the groove of things. I've been battling a little stomach bug today. I took the day off to try to recoup. Going to try to make up for it tomorrow, though, and just training camp right around the corner, which means the season's not far off. Looking forward to it. I'm excited to see what is going to happen this year. I am super pumped.
It's definitely a season to be excited about, Robert. Before we get too deep into the Falcon conversation, the wife had the stomach bug last week, and my God, man, I'm thankful the kids didn't get it. I had it the week before that, so the stomach bug's definitely floating around right now, guys. So stay safe, stay healthy. Robert, pray that you get a quick recovery, brother. You'll be able to bounce right back, get to the workstation tomorrow. Falcon fans, new segment here for DFU. It is not Atlanta Falcon related, but it is NFL related. The Cincinnati Bengals have still yet to sign their number one draft pick rookie, Shamar Stewart, a guy that I had on our top 10 draft board. We talked about a good bit here on the show. Shamar Stewart, drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals, have still yet to sign a contract. Philip, Cody, Robert, now obviously our rookies, our whole rookie class has signed. What does this mean for the Cincinnati Bengals to have a guy that is their star rookie that they drafted first round, has yet to practice at all, doing his own kind of workouts, still in the building, still listening to what the team meetings have to conversate about, but Shamar Stewart not able to get in that chemistry scheme when it comes to playing on the field with this new team and the speed of the NFL. Philip, we'll start with you. Shamar Stewart in a situation where not only Shamar Stewart, but their second-round draft pick as well was even delayed in a contract signing because of the situation that Cincinnati has been putting these players and agents in, not wanting to sign the contract because it's a very unfair deal. Not so much that Shamar Stewart is saying, hey, I need this amount of money and I need it now, but it's the fact of what is fair when it comes to NFL rookie contracts. Philip, Shamar Stewart still unsigned, technically a free agent, I guess you could say,
right,
in the NFL. Philip, your thoughts of Shamar Stewart, no contract.
Well, when you first look at it brings up months ago, you're thinking, Shamar Stewart has still yet to sign. You're thinking, oh, he's just being, like just what's the word to say?
Diva.
Yeah, like a diva. You want more, like he's just begging, money hungry, basically. But that's not the case. Cincinnati's management just absolutely sucks. If you get deep down, dive into it. This is why Trey Hendrickson wanted out. A lot of their players on the defense, offensive side of the ball are wanting out because the management, the GM, whatever it is in there, it's not working how most teams work. They're trying to underpay these players when
and
like
not even giving these rookies guaranteed contract, like
right,
first round picks, guaranteed contracts.
They're just, it's like a slap to the face, really. And really, that's just it. Honestly, they could really do better.
Cody, when you hear what Philip's saying as in Shamar Stewart, the rumors first hit, people thought Shamar Stewart was the diva, that Shamar Stewart was asking for a price tag that was not reasonable for the style of player, being only Shamar Stewart only came out with 4.5 sacks, guys. Like right. Shamar Stewart was a guy that you knew was a run game stopper, but could he get to the quarterback? The Bengals reach out on the limb, they grab him, they take him in the first round. This article here by Rich Eisenshow says it has been all but quiet when it comes to any continuing negotiations between Shamar Stewart and the Bengals after he was the only healthy NFL rookie to not participate in spring workouts. Cody, Shamar Stewart still not signed with the Cincinnati Bengals. Does not affect the Atlanta Falcons, but as a breaking ice segment, how do you feel about, if you were a Cincinnati Bengal fan, your first-round draft picks hasn't even practiced in spring training, and he's the only one to not do so. How are you feeling as a Cincinnati Bengals fan if you were in that position?
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, could you guys imagine right now if we're sitting here, what is it, the 27th, and we haven't signed Jalen Walker to a contract, how pissed off we'd be? Or, yeah, I mean, and, to Philip's point, when I first started, I was just going, God, and we got another guy that's a rookie that thinks, he's bigger than the shield, he's bigger than the logo on the side of the helmet, or I guess on the, in this case with the Bengals, the logo on the sleeve of the jersey. But, it's just, from what I understand, like, if I was a Bengals fan, I'm pissed because it is absolutely the Bengals management that is just screwing this all to hell because it's not about money. From what I understood, and you'll have to forgive me, I'm not great on the details because it was a couple of weeks ago that I heard this. Apparently the Bengals were trying out some kind of, new kind of deal system that was just real wonky is the best way I can describe it. I wish I could remember the details, but it was just kind of all over the place and just really wasn't a fair deal for anybody. Not just the fact that he's a rookie, but like, I guess the Bengals were trying to test this new deal system out or whatever the case was. But at this point, man, if I was a Bengals fan, I'm pissed because the other side of this coin is if something doesn't get done, your number one draft pick can re-enter the draft at a certain point. So if you're thinking that you're about to get a Shamar Chase, you're muted, buddy. I was
saying that's crazy that you bring that up, Cody, because that's a scenario that I didn't even think about.
Yeah,
a guy that was drafted that could initially reinstate in the draft for next year.
Absolutely.
Do that.
Yeah, absolutely. If he's not signed at a certain point, he can re-enter the draft. And so could you imagine losing a first-round draft pick because you were being stubborn about some new stupid, contract. Again, not a Bengals fan, don't really care, what happens to them. But could you imagine? Imagine he, does go back in the NFL draft and the Falcons wind up picking him up. You know what I mean? Like a guy that was on our board, and, is probably looked at. I mean, yeah. So, man, if I'm a Bengals fan at this point, I'd be pissed.
Yep. Robert, that question floats to you, brother. Not Falcons related, but I feel like it's something that everybody's chatting about, so why not DF, you talk about it. Robert, Shamar Stewart, still unsigned. Your thoughts on what Philip and Cody had to say about the situation?
Well, I'm originally from that area. I was born and raised in Bengal country, and this is nothing new. Mike Brown is the Eugene Krabs of NFL owners. He is a penny pension tightwad.
Eugene Krabs.
And this is nothing new. But to their defense, they had been kind of negotiating a deal to get the stadium renovated and extend the lease, which they got that accomplished yesterday from what I've seen. But yeah, I mean, to Philip and Cody's points, yeah, if you're a Bengal fan right now, you got to be upset. If for no other reason, it's a first round pick, and the Brown family is notorious for this. And not to speak ill of the dead, Paul Brown was one of the greatest coaches, one of the greatest owners of all time. Obviously, his kids and grandkids did not inherit that football savvy, but it's just, like I said, I've seen it for years. This is nothing new. The if there's one thing Mike Brown is good at, is to use the Bengals as leverage against the fan base and against the city. And all of his time in ownership, I've seen it so many times. Eventually, I think this kid will sign, but they're going to try to get him for the biggest bargain basement price that they can. The kid's not being a diva. This is all on Bengals management.
Yep. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Enough for breaking the ice segment. That is enough for today around the league. Shamar Stewart, best of luck to you, sir, and whatever happens in that situation. On to some Falcon football. Some things that might make Falcon fans a little upset. Kyle Pitts did not attend the tight end university. Charlie Warner is one that did so from the Atlanta Falcons. We do have some defensive players that did attend the SAC Summit put on by Von Miller, Max Crosby, and Cam Jordan. That would be Jalen Walker and Arnold Ebiketie, both joining the SAC Summit. Tight end Kyle Pitts did not attend tight end university, and Charlie Warner did so as they all prepare to get ready for training camp. Philip, your thoughts on, Jalen Walker and Arnold Ebiketie out here, trying to get this thing rolling here for these Atlanta Falcon fans, putting on for the city. And just rotate around the table here.
Are we speaking just on them two, or?
Yeah, and then we'll get to the Kyle Pitts here in a little bit.
I mean, yeah, I'm all for it. I mean, you're working with guys that's out here that's sack leaders, where they're leading sacks and stuff, and you are two guys. One hasn't played yet, and you're one that's still trying to discover how many sacks you can get in a season. Yeah. Whichever it be, you're still putting in the work and the time, and I like to see that, especially from a rookie who people say, I've seen online people saying that he's sort of a locker room leader in a way. Even though he doesn't have that title, they just say he has that quality of him, which is which you love to see.
You kind of see that already in the fact that Jalen Walker is taking Arnold Ebiketie with him to a SAC Summit. Like,
right.
AK has never attended a SAC Summit in his whole offseason of being with the Atlanta Falcons. Jalen Walker, first year. Now these guys are out and about learning techniques and style from players such as Von Miller, Max Crosby, guys that you would kill for to have in Atlanta. As a matter of fact, Max Crosby was a big name that floated around Atlanta this offseason. So when you have guys that look up to players that you want on this team, makes you even happier about what Jalen Walker could initially bring to the Atlanta Falcons this upcoming season. Philip, as you stated, leadership, a big part of what this team, maybe even this defensive line could use here heading into the regular season. Cody, your thoughts of Jalen Walker and Arnold Ebiketie attending the SAC Summit?
Yeah, man, I would say it's so refreshing to hear, from the other things, because, Chuck Smith, I mean, we're going to go back a little bit. How many times did we hear on the radio about Chuck Smith talking about, getting a Vic Beasley in to come and do these things? And so for your rookie to come in and be like, hey, AK, we're going to this thing and we're going to go do this. It shows that initiative, man. And that's what you're looking for from your guys. It's that taking that step to be, even if he's a rookie, man, to be a leader, to fill those shoes that Grady Jarrett has left behind. And those are big shoes, man. That's a big leadership role that needed to be filled. And it just feels like Jalen Walker is the guy to fill them. I'm not saying that, he is just yet, but he is absolutely trending in the right direction. And that's so positive and so reassuring to see as a Falcon fan that you've got guys willing to put in the time and put in the work and go do the extra and go learn from these guys.
Yep.
So it's just refreshing from as a Falcon fan's standpoint to see the guys that are willing to put in the extra work, because they could be at home right now. Those guys have got money to spend, money to burn. They could be on a yacht in Cancun right now, hanging out with strippers and doing drugs like some people would be. They're not. They're in the heat, putting in the work, doing these things, and getting better. And this is what we've been dying to see in Atlanta since John Abraham's been here. Somebody that is willing to put in the work and go do those things. So it's definitely exciting.
Some Falcon fans in the comment section mentioned, where was James Pierce Jr. at during this SAC summit? James Pierce Jr. has reportedly been spotted in Chicago with a movement trainer. So, guys, not only Jalen Walker and Honoré Bichetti, but also James Pierce Jr. putting in the work in the offseason leading up to the training camp. Robert, you hear about these players, doing these camps, reaching out to other, I guess you could say, legends of the game. Von Miller would definitely be a Hall of Fame player when it's all said and done. So when you hear about Falcon defenders, going and attending these summits, how do you feel about it as a Falcon fan, leading into what I would say probably the most important season for not only the franchise, but the coaching staff and the players in a whole? This season bears a lot of weight for the Atlanta Falcons. Robert, how do you feel about these players putting in the work this offseason?
I love to see it, especially, Jalen is coming in and he is letting the fan base know, he's letting the city know that he is going to become a great professional. And who better to learn from than guys like Von Miller, who is a former Super Bowl MVP, then probably going to the Hall of Fame. Max Crosby, who is, a legend in the making. I mean, he's probably the lone bright spot right now for the Raiders. I mean, he is seeking out the mentorship of some of the best to do this. And that shows that he is wanting to bring this to the franchise, to improve this defense, and to get us a championship. I love it. I love to see these kids put in this work. I love to see these kids show this kind of initiative. And as far as James Pierce goes, a lot of people were asking, how come he's not there? If he is working with a trainer, putting in his work, doing it on his own time, great. I mean, just he's not loafing around. He's not, I got my check now. He's still putting in the work, and that's what's been desperately missing, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Yep. Absolutely. I agree 100% with all three of you guys. To have these guys, putting in the work, and as I stated, probably one of the most important seasons for the Atlanta Falcons, coaching staff, general manager Terry, all these guys, big decisions, leading up to the season. And to have these guys putting in the work, you didn't see these reports last year. You didn't see the reports of, your D-line, David Onyemata, or somebody going to a SAC summit. You didn't see that. Now this offseason, you see these guys putting in the work. That, to me, shows the leadership that you brought in, not only in the offseason, but through the draft. Like, when you bring in leadership and talent through the draft, you have successfully won that draft. And to me, the Atlanta Falcons did just that this offseason. A topic that we will hit on very quickly, Kyle Pitts not attending Tight End University. I forget who that university was put on through. Was that Travis Kelce, or who was that?
Travis Kelce, yeah. Travis Kelce is one of them, and somebody else I can't remember.
Kittle, maybe Kittle and some other players. But anyway, Kyle Pitts not there. Charlie Warner there with a long list of a bunch of other tight ends that did attend Tight End University. Philip, your thoughts on Kyle Pitts not attending? My initial thoughts were, well, maybe he is rehabbing. Maybe we are getting his ankle back right. Maybe we're putting in the work behind the scenes that we don't see. And right. Fans could take it however they want to take it, but maybe that's my positive view on it, and my negative view on it is Kyle Pitts. Like, this season, not only for the Falcons but for Kyle Pitts, this season is very big because no other team's signing you to a big contract if you don't perform here in Atlanta. And the Atlanta Falcons, most importantly, will not re-sign you if you do not put on a show here in Atlanta this year. Philip, the mic is yours, and then rotate it around.
No, I mean, I kind of feel the same way. Really, it's the positive side is I do feel like he's unfortunately rehabbing. Because they did say he was out during camp, or the
He was
first
in the
part
he
of
was in the
camp,
building. He was in the meetings, but he was not
Right.
participating in
because of
workouts.
his, because of the foot, which makes, or yeah, his ankle makes sense. If that's what you're doing, heal it. But here's what you also need to be working on the outside of what we don't know, and that's the part that's frustrating because we don't know what you're doing. So I mean, I don't know. But
The
like you said,
the ball at the end of the day, no matter what a podcast says, no matter what fans feel, no matter what Terry, no matter what Raheem or Michael Penix, no matter what anybody in that building says or thinks, the ball ends in Kyle Pitts' court. That's just where it is. Like the ball's in your court.
like,
Take it, shoot a three, make a layup, do what you do with it, but it's up to you, Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, basically, like it's all up to him. How this season ends, how the off season's gonna go, it's all in your hands.
Yeah. Cody?
Yeah, I would say, man, I understand. Like if you're rehabbing, I get that. But here's my thing, guys, is when you go to these camps, any of us that have ever gone to a football camp, there's film study.
They're
They're
storming in Baxley, Georgia.
Oh yeah, I could hear it out my window too. I would say, but man, there's other things that you can be doing besides running routes and catching footballs. I understand that, that's probably a large part of it, but there is film study. You can pick other guys' brains while you're over there. And this is the thing that I'm getting frustrated. Like if this is Bijan, because we haven't heard Bijan going to running back U or whatever they call their thing. But that's also because you see Bijan put in the work. You see what Bijan does on Sundays. You're not upset that, Michael Penix is in at quarterback, elite quarterback, whatever they want to call their thing, because you're seeing what he's bringing to you on Sundays. You're not seeing him quit. This is my thing with Kyle Pitts about why, I understand that there are things that we don't see in doors closed, all that wonderful stuff. I get that. I really, really do. But Kyle Pitts is one player on this roster that can't be doing that crap no more, because you see the product that he puts out there on Sundays. He's quitting on routes. He's given up on plays. He's, you can't, so you no longer have the luxury, Kyle, of hiding behind closed doors and saying, oh, I'm putting in work, or we're just assuming that you're putting in work because, you're rehabbing and all that stuff. You need to be out showing that you've got the effort, because we spent a number 1 pick on you, number 4 overall at this point. And I'm trying to be optimistic about Kyle. I want Kyle to succeed, but this is the problem that I've got with Kyle is that I've blasted him on our podcast. I have absolutely blasted Kyle Pitts. But how many times have I come on here and said I want you to be successful and been like, okay, well, let's give him another chance. Well, let's see what can this offensive coordinator unlock him. Okay, we did, giving him excuses with the Desmond Ridder and the Marcus Mariotas of the world, and you're not working with Matt Ryan anymore. And it's like, okay, well, now you got Michael Penix, but show me something. This is my thing with Kyle Pitts, and it's just I don't have a great feeling about it. I've tried to be optimistic about it with the rehab part of it, but this is the thing that I'm talking about, guys. That I just want to see initiative from Kyle Pitts. I'm so sick and tired of his attitude of I just fucking work here. That doesn't cut it for me. It just doesn't, man. Like, and I don't know if this is the starving Falcon fan in me that just wants to win again. And I'm tired of seeing, why it seems like we've always got that guy that is, Vic Beasley. Oh, well, I like football, but, I really rather build a church. Not that there's anything wrong with him wanting to be a pastor. Cool. But then get off my team. Get off my team and go do your thing. Go do your pastor stuff. Cool. Kyle, you just work here? Well, go work for somebody else. I just want to see the initiative. Yep. I don't care, man, if he was at this thing learning and doing this stuff, and he comes out this year and sucks, cool, but you showed me that you're putting in the work. And right now you're showing me the exact same thing that you've shown me the last couple of years that drives me crazy. And I just want you to show up and have the attitude of like, I'm not just working here. I'm working to build a championship. Guys, I'm 35. If I die before the Falcons win a Super Bowl, I'm going to come back and I'm going to haunt some people.
Jesus.
I can't do it, dude. I just can't.
Robert, your thoughts on the whole situation with Kyle Pitts not attending Tight End University?
I agree with Cody 100%. It's the initiative just hasn't been there, at least, not in plain sight. We've struggled with this so many times in recent years with high draft picks on the offensive side of the ball, especially pass catchers that just seem like they want to quit. And, a lot of people are saying, well, maybe it's an organizational thing and all that. Well, it may be, but, you're football players and, an organization has taken a high risk on you by drafting you that high. So they're expecting results. And we as fans are expecting results. And Cody has hit the nail on the head. I mean, we all want Kyle to succeed, especially while he's wearing a Falcon uniform, but you got to put forth the effort, pal. It's just that simple. And I've touched on this subject many times before, and I'll just say it again. We as fans are basically paying customers. We are paying to see you put forth an effort and give us results, and you're not doing that. So you are cheating us out of what we are giving you. Anybody else on any job working for any company would have been shown the door long before now. So, Kyle, if you want to stay a Falcon or if you want to beef up your own value to get out of Atlanta, you're going to have to put forth the effort.
Somebody get Obadiah a slurp or a med kit. The guy needs healed ASAP. Somebody get my guy a slurp or a 50 shield. Hashtag Fortnite. For the guys that didn't get that joke, hashtag Fortnite. Shout out to Obadiah Stain. Hit that subscribe button, brother. Glad to have you here in the comment section.
Wait, isn't that the guy that built the Warmonger suit?
I could not even.
I was like, wait a minute, that name sounds real familiar.
Shout out Obadiah. Appreciate you in the comments, brother. The next segment for tonight's show here, man. Shout out everybody that's here tonight. Hit that like button, subscribe, guys. We're glad to have you here for DFU episode 150, guys. We're rounding up on 200 episodes of DFU, man. That's crazy. Shout out to everybody that's right with us along the way. Next topic: 5 most important Falcons for success in the 2025 season, guys. I'll start it off from the top, and we'll rotate it around the table. Not in no specific order, but my 5 players for the Falcons to success this year that has to have a good season. 1, Michael Penix Jr.
Mm-hmm.
2, Ryan Neuzil. 3, Drake London. 4, Jalen Walker. 5, we know Bijan's going to ball out, so I'm not putting Bijan on this list. 5, James Pierce Jr. That is my 5 Falcons to success this year. Obviously, Bijan is a key factor to success. He's not on my list, but Bijan is Bijan. Year 3 for Bijan this year, I think, is going to be phenomenal. That's why he's on the wall. No other body but Bijan, and obviously Julio the GOAT right above us. But that is my 5 Falcons to success. Philip, the table is yours. Who do you have here for your 5 Falcons to success for the 2025 season?
I'm gonna take 2 out of your little pocket there. Definitely, maybe 3. I think we all agree on these 3. It's gonna be number 1 is Michael Penix, number 2 Ryan Neuzil. Without that, that says it all. Yep. 3, I'm gonna go Drake London. That's my dog. He eats majority every game. Number 4, I am gonna go Bijan. And then number 5, it's 2 and 1. It's gonna be Pierce and Jalen Walker.
Yep. Key factors to success. Cody, your 5 players for the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, so I'm going to try to change this up a little bit. I would say, so I think my 5, obviously, your team goes as well as your quarterback goes. So Absolutely, Michael Penix has to be, your number 1. I agree with you, Chase. I want to put Bijan on this list, but we all know Bijan's going to do his thing, so I'm going to keep him. But Tyler Algier. Algier is going to be massive this year, as far as load management with Bijan and all that stuff. My other guy is Xavier Watts. Secondary is probably our weakest point, and I really like this kid, man. So him stepping up and showing up, I think will be huge for a secondary. Number was that 1, 2. So number 4, I was like you guys. Ryan Nuzil was also on my list. And then the other guy that I absolutely think will be critical for this, I'm not going to go so much player, but I'm going to go coach here. Does Zach Robinson find a way to unlock the weapons that he's got?
Another
I
one
think
for
he's
you,
going to
Cody.
be huge.
Does Raheem Morris correct the time management issues this season?
That's exactly it.
We lost 2 to 3 games this year because of time management issues.
Yep.
Good one could be Jeff Albrecht.
Jeff Albrecht.
He's going to be key too.
Robert, key players here. I have one more after Robert gives his 5. I have one more that's a very huge factor to this team. Robert, go ahead.
I agree with you guys. Number 1, obviously, Michael Penix, the quarterback, the leader of the team. This is going to be his first full training camp with, getting all the starter reps. So, we need success from him. I think we'll get it. Number 2, obviously, Ryan Nuzil. He's got some big shoes to fill, with the departure of Drew Dahlman. Yep. Everything starts with the center. So, and he basically outperformed Dahlman last year. So I'm pretty comfortable with that. Number 3, obviously our first pick, Jalen Walker, which I think is a given. I think he steps in. I think he balls out, right away.
Yeah, he does.
Number 4 is, sticking with the secondary. I think that we need some continued success from AJ Terrell. He's the number 1 corner, and I think that he really needs to, if nothing else, just keep that status of being an elite corner. And number 5 is our defensive leader. We need continued success from Caden Ellis.
Yeah,
I think
real good one.
keep him doing what he does. Keep the spark. Keep the fire lit under the defense. Keep that leadership in there, whether it be dropping back in coverage or getting after the quarterback.
I almost agree with DSGB Hall. He says the overall defense should count as 1. LOL. I agree, DSGB Hall. We got to have the defense this year because I'm going to add 2 more guys to this list, and one of those guys is a very huge part to the defense, and that's Jesse Bates. We have got to have another shutout season from Jesse Bates to really keep this defense going, this young defense. Jesse Bates, to what it seems like, man, right in the middle of his era, like just balling right now in the last 2-3 years here in Atlanta. Jesse Bates is him, but a guy that wins the Atlanta Falcons a lot of games, Falcon fans, a guy that has lost the Falcons a lot of games, a guy that really matters when it comes to in the trenches, when it comes to NFC South rival games. And that's my guy, Younghoe Koo. We got to have Koo this year. We've got to have Koo in this year. No playing Koo if he's injured. Nope. We need a backup plan if Koo happens to tweak anything throughout this year. We've got to have a backup plan. But I think Koo could be a very huge part to this team this year if we can get him back on the right track. If we start hitting these field goals in these games that matter. We all agree on Penix, Nuzil. We all pretty much said Drake London. We all said Jalen Walker, James Pierce, AJ Terrell, a good one from Robert, Jesse Bates, Caden Ellis, Tyler Algier, another great one. Bijan, all these players, these Falcons finally have superstars now. Like, this team is stacked. There's no way the Atlanta Falcons should not win the NFC South. And I've said this every year, but I really mean it this year. Yep. The Falcons should win the NFC South.
What's going on?
We got one more topic here for tonight before we get ready to close out. It's only been a 35-minute show, but guys, bear with us as we are patiently waiting on the Falcons to drop some more content. Breaking news, the Falcons did cut running back Jace McClellan, the running back from Alabama that we drafted. They did cut him. I don't understand that cut. I did not understand that cut at all. But our next topic, go ahead, Phil. Something was going on there. Our last topic is, which rookie is the Falcons MVP in 2025? I'll let Cody start this one, being that Cody came up with this segment. Cody, who is your rookie MVP for the Atlanta Falcons?
Man, I had to do a lot of thinking about this one because I didn't want to say Walker because I think that's the obvious answer. I really do, but
I got a good one.
So I'm gonna go with my second guy that popped up again, and he was on my list just a second ago. I think Xavier Watts has to be
Really good.
has to be the guy that kind of steps up and really strengthens that secondary, and I really think he can do it. Again, Jalen Walker. Again, I really think it's going to be Jalen Walker, but I didn't want the typical answer, so I'm going to go with Xavier Watts. I think Xavier Watts, if he can come in and be shut down, opposite. I mean, God, could you imagine if we have AJ Terrell? You've got Xavier Watts, and you've got
Billy Bowman.
No, not Billy Bowman. God, why am I blanking on his name?
Jesse Bates.
Jesse Bates, thank you. God, I don't know why that couldn't come
D.
out.
Alford.
I was saying, D. Alford. Yeah, I was saying no. But if you got Jesse Bates, so could you imagine if you got those three guys in the secondary just playing absolutely lights out? I mean, you better hope that if that's the case, man, other NFL teams better hope that they can run on us, because if you got those three guys locking people down, it's over.
Yep. Robert, the mic is yours.
I agree with Cody. I think it'll be Xavier Watts. Well, I mean, of course, Jalen Walker will be the obvious one, but I think that we're looking for. We've had a little bit of weakness at corner number 2 the last few years, and I think that Watts will be the guy. I think he's going to be the missing piece to this puzzle as far as the secondary goes. I'm looking for a big year from him. And going back to what we talked about earlier, the 5 most important things, that's one thing that I think AJ really needs to do is be a mentor to guys like Watts and Bowman and, show them, how the pro game works, get them adjusted to the speed, what to look for. But yeah, I mean, Xavier Watts, showed us what he's made of in college, and I think he's going to make a good transition into the NFL.
Speaking of transitions, this is totally off topic, but it's a topic that I just thought about that I read this past week. DeMarco Hellams has been taking snaps at linebacker this training camp. For this
What?
What do you have to say about that, eh?
What?
DeMarco Hellams at linebacker, eh?
What the hell?
Yeah, it just hit my mind, but that is a true fact. I read it on Twitter. DeMarco Hellams taking snaps elsewhere. Philip, the mic is yours, brother. Who is your rookie MVP for this season?
So underrated guy, I feel like that's Billy Bowman. It's a guy that's gonna, like how these guys said, he's gonna change. Watts is obviously gonna change to secondary, but Billy Bowman's gonna be there just as well, because I don't know if you've noticed, our weak target is always the nickel, and it's whether that's D. Alford or it was Richie, it was somebody.
I tell you who's coming, and I tell you who's coming with a vengeance, because he should have been a top 10 pick. James Pierce Jr. is going to win defensive MVP with 10 sacks on the season. James Pierce Jr. just dominates this year in the NFC South. I would go crazy if James Pierce Jr. performed that way. Like, James Pierce was the guy was ranked number 2 behind Abdul, actually number 1 above Abdul Carter when it came to pressure rates and sacks when it came in college.
Yes, sir.
James Pierce Jr., if he didn't have the what they called the growing up pains or whatever they wanted to call it with James Pierce, the attitude situation, whatever, and he played with, maybe Tennessee Volunteers throughout his whole college career, I think James Pierce Jr. would possibly be at top 10 draft pick. The Falcons were taking James Pierce Jr. at 15. That's what the deal was.
Yes,
they
sir.
grab Jalen Walker, they trade back, they get James Pierce Jr. All is said and done. I think James Pierce Jr. is the guy. I think that's your MVP for the season. Obviously, Jalen Walker is going to carry a tremendous part, but I think and this is why I say James Pierce Jr. over Jalen Walker, because I feel like James Pierce Jr. is going to be asked to do one job, and that's going to be rush the quarterback. Jalen Walker will be asked to play linebacker, play the edge, rotate to this side. Jalen Walker will have a bigger role in what this style of play is for the defense, but it's almost like a Caden Ellis situation where Caden can get to the quarterback, but we can't afford to send Caden every play.
Right.
But we can afford to send James Pierce Jr. and Honor Ebiketie every play. We can afford to send James Pierce Jr. and his twin Leonard Floyd on the other side as well. So we can afford to do that now. And that's why I think James Pierce Jr. will be a bigger effect when it comes to sacks and pressure rate this season for the Atlanta Falcons. James Pierce Jr. is my guy.
And I feel like he won't have as much pressure on him as maybe Walker is, dealing with the number 11, You know, people want him to live up to the expectations, but also living up to the expectations of being a number one pick. You know, you're the first pick of our 2025 draft. Of course,
and the fan base loves him already. The fan base loves him already. Like
So,
the Bens went stupid when they announced Jalen Walker. Like
we were part of it.
that was
we were.
fun moment there as a Falcon fan to hear Jalen Walker announced in the Bens. That was pretty lit. But
That's something I thought I'd never hear.
without a shadow of a doubt, I think the Atlanta Falcons are in for a fun season. I think this year will be a fun, maybe a little bumpy at times, but I think this year will be it'll be a fun season for the Atlanta Falcons.
We're coming for your ass, boy.
Philip, Cody, Robert, it's been a great show, man. We're at episode 150 here with DFU, off-season workouts and training camp expectations. Episode 150. We're getting ready to close this thing out, man, at 41 minutes. We appreciate everybody that tuned in tonight. If you hit that like button, if you just tuned in and watched for 10 to 15 seconds, we appreciate you guys, man. Hit that like button. It helps us out tremendously. Share, ring the bell so when we go live, you guys can tune in, hit that like button, comment. We appreciate you guys. Philip, shout outs for tonight and then rotate it around the table.
Yeah, man. Shout out to our Lord and Savior, man. He blessed us to be here another night, just talking here. Blessed with a new job, so shout out to that. Shout out to the Dirty Birds and everybody putting in the work, man. It's gonna be a fun little season we got going on, and shout out to training camp. Gonna be there that weekend, the
July
27th. Gonna be there that whole weekend, so that's gonna be fun to deal with. So, shout out to you three here, and of course Rick as well. Shout out to y'all boys, and just rise up, baby.
Real quick, if you want to catch up with DFU, you can do it July, I think it's the 24th on the Thursday. I'll be in Flowery Branch at the live training camp. Then you can also catch me live training camp July 27th on that Sunday. DFU is in the building. Cody,
wait, did you say Thursday?
I'll be there that Thursday, and that Sunday. I got tickets for Thursday and Sunday. So we'll be there in the building, man. So, Cody, if you want to link up Thursday, whatever your work schedule looks like, whatever, y'all holler at me. We in Flowery Branch with it. Cody, what's going on, man? Give me a shout-out for tonight.
Hey, man, like Philip said, shout out to God first and foremost. He's good. Say all the time. Man, just been blessed, man. I've got a lot to be thankful for the last week, man. So, but shout out to you guys coming on. God, it's been too long since we talked during
3 weeks.
Football. That's what I was thinking the other day. It's like, man, I miss the boys. It's like we get to chat a little bit, but man, man, didn't it just feel like yesterday was Monday?
I swear.
And we're already at the end of the week, man. I say it's been insane. But so shout out to you guys coming on and talk Dirty Birds football. This is best part of my week is talking to y'all about the Falcons, man. This is what we're all passionate about. This is the common interest. Look at our backgrounds, guys.
Dirty Bird.
I'll say how many Falcon, like that needs to be a competition. How many Falcon logos can you spot, during DFU? But, so shout out to you guys coming on, and talking Dirty Bird football. Shout out to everybody that came in, watch, like, comment, keep sharing and liking, guys. We're going to keep pushing Falcon content. It's slow.
It's about to get crazy. It's about to get crazy.
It's slow now, but we're about to get
to
the start of it. But
I promise everyone on this podcast, let us get to winning and having fun.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna be a fun ride. Trust me. Yeah, we remember all the good wins and how we had. Are we gonna bring out the brooms again, bro?
Well, we're gonna have fun. But shout out to the wife. I don't know if she's watching the podcast or watching Too Hot to Handle, but shout out to her because I'm about to go out there and give her something too hot to handle. But
yeah.
But other than that, guys, rise up.
You go.
Yeah. Rise up, Cody. Robert, shout outs for tonight, brother.
Well, shout out to our Lord and Savior. Without him, nothing's possible, and we are highly blessed and highly favored.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to you guys for letting me be a part of this. It means a lot. It means more than you'll ever know. It's always a pleasure coming on, talking Dirty Bird football with you guys. Shout out to our viewers, our subscribers. Thanks for helping us get this out here to you. Thanks for always being here and supporting us. Thanks. And shout out to, obviously, the Falcons. We're looking forward to what you guys are going to put on the field this year, the product that you're going to put out. It's exciting. We're looking forward to it. And as always, shout out to my family, Brianna, Peyton, Zach, and Christy. I love you all. And as always, rise up.
Rise up.
Rise up to the whole DFU squad here, man. Rise up to everybody in the comment sections. You heard it, guys, man. We cannot do this show without you fellas. So please, fellas and gals, no matter what, but you have to be a Falcon fan. No, I'm playing. But shout out to everybody here that has subscribed, has liked, has commented in the past year and a half, 2 years. We really appreciate it, man. We're on the road to 1K. We're at like 547 right now on subscribers on YouTube. This past month has been crazy for DFU, man. You guys have really tuned in and supported throughout the dry spell of the offseason, man. So thanks to everybody that's tuned in. Thanks to you guys for being awesome co-host here. Thanks to my guy Rick that's not able to make it here tonight. Shout out to all you guys, man. Like seriously, there's been times like before I even had co-hosts, like the podcast was on the brink of closing the doors, and it's like, we got co-hosts now, like we got this thing rolling, and without you guys, there probably wouldn't be a podcast. Just keeping it a buck. But shout out to everybody that is a part of DFU, everybody that has strung along the way, and shout out to the Atlanta Falcons, as Robert, Cody, and Philip stated. Man, we're all excited for the season. Not only us, but the whole Falcon fan base in a whole is excited to see what this team could be this year. Excited to see what this defense could be. Really, this defense that you dove so deep in this offseason. So. I guess as a desperate Falcon fan, please, Atlanta Falcons, make this season fun. Make this season something to remember for the good, not the bad. Shout out to, as you guys all stated, our good Lord and Savior up above, man. Without him, none of this is possible. Shout out to the old lady in the other room watching the baby. Shout out. That's the main shout out, man. Shout out to God for, just the abundant of blessings he's blessed me with, and not only this year, but the past 3 years. Like a light switch just flipped. Like the whole lifestyle I live has changed tremendously. So all for the good, man. Shout out to the good Lord. Shout out to everybody here, man. It's your boy Chase from DFU, man. Philip, Cody, Robert, and Rick, man. We up out of here, man. We appreciate y'all. A-Town down, rise up. See you in Flower Branch.